Good afternoon. Welcome to the round 2 recap, the championship week preview. I am your host and commissioner, Jeff Darling, and I wish that we were meeting under different circumstances. I wish many things. I wish I could tell you that the sisters left Andy alone. Okay, that's a terrible impression of, I won't even say who I was trying to impersonate unless you understood what I was doing. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. We just had, we had two games in the winner's bracket. We had Chat GB Lee taking on the Dallas Jeff Boys, yours truly, and then we had Uncle Touchdown taking on the slightly above average team. And let me just tell you, folks, after that initial Thursday game, both games were looking like I was going to lose and that Sean was going to lose. And only one of those first impressions was correct. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's just get it over with. It was painful. And I'll tell you what the most painful part was in just a moment. Okay, so we had Chat GB Lee taking on the Dallas Jeff Boys. And, going into the projection, I think there was maybe a 6-point margin in the projection between Brandon and me. And going into the game again, Brandon had, Dicker the kicker. I'm just gonna bask in my misery just for a second. And you're watching this, so you're gonna have to humor me for a second. Dicker the kicker, all season long, had a high of 16 points, and that came in week 8. The last 5 games, 3 points, 1 point, 6 point, 4 points, 8 points, 9 points, 11, 16, 7, 5, 6, 3, 10, 12. Okay, so we're looking at this feller, and he's averaging, 5 points per game. And what does he do when it matters most? 5 for 5, an extra point, 21 points for Dicker. So I just kind of, that happened. I was like, you know what? I think that's how this game's going to go. And yes, indeed, that is how this game went. Brandon, your team, it was incredible. Everybody exceeded their season averages. You scored 146 points. Your lowest point scored was your defense with 9. Then Eckler with 10, but everybody else 18, 10, 16, 23, 13, 17, 16, 9, 21. No one blew you out of the water, but typically when you have something like that, you at least have 3 or 4 dudes with 6 or 7 points. But no, everyone, congratulations, very, very good. But let's take a flip side on the Jeff side. Kamara, Thursday night game, 6 points. Like I said, I was pretty sure after he got 10, it was 31-6 after the Thursday night game. I was like, this isn't looking great. And then Amari Cooper happened. Amari Cooper, 11 catches, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns for 49 points. And you say, all right, Jeff, how could you possibly lose with a player that scores you 49 points? Well, not to spoil anything, but I found a way, because as I predicted last week in my preview video, I knew it came down to that final Monday night game, that Christmas Day game, 8 o'clock. Brock Purdy and George Kittle, teammates, and yet playing against each other. Kittle on Brandon, Purdy on mine. All that needed to not happen. And I went into that final game with a 2-point margin. And all right, this I think may have been the most frustrating thing. I go into this game with a slim 2-point lead. I text Brandon. I said, "Merry Christmas, Brandon. We got ourselves quite the matchup going into this final game." And this was the reply. I am a robot. I am so sorry. I have not checked this in 3 days. I'm not even kidding. I literally got a text back from Brandon. That's what hurts the most, is Brandon's text was like, "Oh, is the game close? I haven't checked." Happy to hear that. Oh man. Meanwhile, my kids are saying, "Dad, open presents with them." I'm like, "Get out of here. I'm trying to watch fantasy football on my phone." Just kidding. It really wasn't like that. But yeah, just classic Robot Brandon, checked his lineup 3 minutes before it started on Thursday or Sunday or whatever, and then just didn't check it again. Probably still hasn't checked it. Probably doesn't know, oh, did I win or am I in the third place game? Anyways, Brock Purdy, and let's just take a look. We looked at Dicker the kicker. Let's take a Purdy average quarterback right now. If you look at Brock Purdy's totals for the last, let's just go 6 games. 25 points, 23 points, 30 points, 10 points, 28 points, 24 points. Let's keep going. 19, 12, 7, 26, 21, 23, 14, 16. So his worst game of the season was a 7.7 game. I think I would have taken that. Still would have lost, but what did he do? 4 interceptions. Not only did he have 4 interceptions, I could have still potentially won with 4 interceptions. But he needed to not throw to George Kittle. What did he do? He threw 7 catches for 126 yards to George Kittle. And Kittle got 17, and I got 2.4 from Purdy. All right, 6 minutes into this video. I know I've been very selfish just talking about this, but I had to get it off my chest. This is somewhat therapeutic for me. And it hurt. It hurt a lot, but it's okay. 3rd place, whatever. What's another year of me not winning fantasy football? Well, it just is one more year harder for me to convince my wife that I should play next year. But we'll do it. All right, moving right along. Congratulations, Brandon. You've made it to the championship game. You were the top seed in your division the entire year. It's only fitting for you to move forward. Next up, we have the slightly above average team taking on Uncle Touchdown. And Sean, you were rolling the whole year, and you might have been a little bit nervous after that Thursday night game because Kyron Williams got 17 points, Puka Nacua got 29 points. So coming out of that Thursday night game, Jason already had 46 points. However, Olave had 19 for Sean. So it wasn't like Sean was like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and lose. And then what happened? Uncle Touchdown, 144.9 to Jason's 102.4. I mean, the 102, Jason, slightly above average. That was what your score was. But again, as with Brandon's, every single person, but not really. I mean, Moore and Waller, 3 points and 4 points. But Kyler Murray, 20. McCaffrey, 23. Breece Hall against your Washington Commanders, 37 points. And all of that added up to the fact that Jason, it was hard to do. We had our work cut out for us. I don't think it was looking great for us. We had an underdog's chance, and I wish I was playing you, Jason, because I would be moving right along. But I didn't. I lost. You lost. It's Uncle Touchdown and Chat GB Lee in the finals, the 1 and the 2 seed. I mean, this is what the league wants for high viewership. You want the top 2 teams to face off, and we're all just rooting somehow for a tie. Or for you both. You know what? Let's hope for like a 37-26 victory. I don't care who wins, but I want it to be that bad. I want you guys to be the 2 lowest scoring teams, and everybody else in the losers brackets all scores way higher than you, so we can look back and be like, if I was in the championship game, I would have won. All right, I'm not salty or bitter or anything. All right, let's go ahead and just take a quick look here. We had a couple things. Field of Dreams taking on the Weasel. Again, not much amounted to this one. It's the winner's consolation ladder. But Field of Dreams, 93.7. Sounds like a good radio station. To the Weasels, 85.84. Anything of note there? Not really. Except for the fact that the Weasel didn't start a kicker. So maybe if he had done that, we could have had a slightly closer game than the close game that it was. So Carlos, consider yourself fortunate. I don't think Paul quite cares at this point. Next up, we had Team Midnight taking on Gone on Strike. And again, if you refresh yourselves, we have in this losers bracket, the top 2 teams who are facing off this week will be for the winning that $25 or $25 bounty, which gets them your buy-in from the original and from the losers bracket. So the winner of Midnight and Gone on Strike was going to head to that bracket, and Gone on Strike. Team Midnight Mike couldn't find himself. Defending league champ couldn't find himself in the Toilet Bowl championship round. Just wasn't in the cards. 100.88 for Matt to Mike's 82 points. Got a defense getting you 0. Looking at your bench, though, really not so much that was there. I mean, Sam Howell, the dream run's finally over. The comparisons between him and Patrick Mahomes, I think, are over. Except Mahomes, I mean, if only you had Mahomes of 2 years ago, Mike, when I think you won. You might have had a different season, but Mahomes just really wasn't the great Mahomes, and it's kind of fun, guys. Kind of fun watching the Chiefs just have these sideline meltdowns, losing to the Raiders, not looking so hot. But anyways, Matt, moving on to the championship for the losers bracket. Next up, we had the overachiever taking on Team Touchdown. The winner of this one would have faced Matt in the championship, and Dan, your team. I was looking back because I was like, man, you've gotten like 67, 62, and like 55 points the last 3 weeks. I was like, how far back does this cold streak go? Just when it mattered. The final game, the playoffs, and then this game. Before that, you're scoring like 120, 130. Like, I don't know what happened to your team. Something happened. I think you could probably tell me. Go ahead and tell me what happened. But 67 points, Michael scored 111. So the team that was in last place the entire year, Michael, has now pulled out 3 wins in a row and is looking to play Matt in the championship for the losers bracket, the toilet bowl as we like to refer to it. Last up, not last but somewhat not least, we had 2 teams that hadn't won. Wannabe Squirrel Salads taking on Team Queen. Squirrel Salads saw Hannah's trash talk and said, listen, you're the one that's in last place playing the recorder. Don't drag me into this. Squirrel Salads 114.8 to Team Queen's 87. Okay, so that was the recap. Let's go ahead and take a quick preview. We've got our championship game, ChatGB Lee taking on Uncle Touchdown. Right now projected ChatGB Lee 122.3 to Sean's 119.6. But I did want to point out here that you guys actually faced each other 2 times. 2 times in the season. In week 6, Brandon beat Sean 121 to 105. In week 12, the rematch, Brandon lost to Sean 141 to 100.8. So, Sean's 1-1, Brandon's 1-1. Honestly, if it couldn't be me in the championship, I think this is the best outcome. 2 teams that were winning the whole year, the 1 seed, the 2 seed, each have beat each other 1 time, facing off for all the marbles. Pretty exciting stuff. Compelling football we've got coming up, and then a projection of less than a 2-point difference between you guys. So we're all going to watch, except for Brandon, because apparently he doesn't even know what fantasy football is. He just got a text from some like AI chatbot that says, I've entered you into this fantasy league. Would you like to proceed? Brandon may or may not have said yes. It might have auto-enrolled him. It auto-drafted him. I think it's been auto-starting his lineup the whole year. And Brandon, I'll write you a work email, since you don't even probably watch this video and you don't join in with our Discord Slack, but I'll write you a work email and say, Brandon, congratulations, or condolences, depending on how this works out. Okay, we've got a 3rd place game. Doesn't even matter. Slightly above average taking on me. Dallas Jeff Boys right now, me projected 120. I'm projected. See, I care so little. I care a lot about grammar, but apparently I care so little about this that I'm saying me did this and me did that. I'm projected to win 120 to 118. That's for the 3rd place game. 5th place game, Field of Dreams taking on the Weasel. Projected Carlos 97-93. Kind of weird. You guys have to play each other 2 weeks in a row. I don't know why that's like that. But anyways, all right, the championship for the losers bracket. The overachiever Michael Cup taking on Gone on Strike Matt Haynes. We played each other last night in this old board game called Axis and Allies, and that game took 9.5 hours, and I think that's probably how long Matt will be checking his phone this whole week. Right now, projected Matt 110 to Michael's 100. The winner of this game, again, takes that $25 bounty. Oh, and let's just back up real quick. The winner of the championship game was a $20 buy-in, 204. So the winner gets $200. The second place team between Brandon and Sean will take $40 back, which is your buy-in plus a little something to buy your wife something nice and say, hey, this is why I can pay attention to you. Although it sounds like Brandon's been paying a lot of attention to Lisa since he doesn't pay attention to this game. Okay, I'm going to stop mentioning that. All right, so big stuff at stakes there. Team Midnight taking on the Wannabe Squirrel Salads for the 9th place game. This is just for pride, folks. Right now projected Mike 104 to Greg's 100. And then the last place game, which fittingly enough is Dan and Hannah, our 2 last place teams for the last 2 years, playing each other to see who's officially the last place team in our league. Right now, Hannah projected 95 to Dan's 100. All right, folks, there you have it. That's our round 2 recap, our preview for the final week of fantasy football. You've got, this has been a fun season. I'm sad it didn't turn out differently for me, but I've had a blast. Hopefully you guys have had too. I think some people have not had a fun time, but again, we're toying around with this. We're trying to see how fun and engaging we can make this league. We'll do some more thought. I'll bring this up in the next week's final recap, some thoughts to make next year even more exciting, more engaging. But for now, we're all sad, except for Sean and Brandon. All right. I'll see you guys later.